It doesn't matter if you've been thinking about starting a podcast or a business or a YouTube channel or anything else. If you're thinking about it, you've probably had those thoughts of doubt. What if nobody listens? What if we don't sell anything? What if this doesn't work? I get it. I've had those feelings as well. I still get them sometimes. But I told those voices to shut their holes. And I took a shot and it worked. And if I can do it, you can do it. And it's going to be easier than you think because you can have Shopify on your side. Shopify is like the greatest employee you will ever hire because they can take so much off your to-do list. They have hundreds of ready-to-use website templates so you can get your website up and running ASAP. They can help you create email and social media campaigns so you can reach your customers wherever they happen to be scrolling. And maybe most importantly, Shopify is your commerce expert, helping with everything from inventory management to shipping orders internationally. And if you ever get stuck, Shopify's award-winning 24/7 customer support is there to help you out. It's time to turn those what ifs into with Shopify today. Sign up for your $1 per month trial today at shopify.com/RTG. Go to shopify.com/RTG. That's shopify.com/RTG. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Remember the Game. It is my retro gaming podcast where every week a buddy of mine and I sit down and we geek out about the games we played back in the day. My name is Adam Blank. Thank you so much for listening to the show. And this week it is episode 365. It is Valentine's Day week. So I wanted to cover a game with some romantic undertones. And the two that came to mind were Manhunt, which I presume is a bachelorette's search for love, or Aladdin for the Sega Genesis. And after a whole lot of soul searching, I decided to go with the latter. People have been on me to play Aladdin for the Genesis for years, literally ever since Remember the Game 127, 240 episodes ago, when we covered the Super Nintendo version of Aladdin, and so many, came out of the woodworks to tell me the Sega version was superior. You need to play the Sega version. Sega does what Nintendo don't, etc., so on and so forth. So I have finally played the Sega Genesis version, and without spoiling my entire review, I'm afraid I have to go against my inner child and my SNES brethren and agree. The Sega Genesis version of Aladdin is superior. Both very good, for the record. I quite enjoy both these games. I own a physical copy of the Genesis one in my collection, and I do intend to add a Super Nintendo version to my collection someday as well. But I think I like the Genesis version a little bit better. Dude, it's crazy because we all know about all like the bad licensed games, the bad cartoon show video games, movie video games, all those back in the day. But it's crazy how many licensed games were just bangers. Like Aladdin, Lion King, DuckTales, Chip and Dale, The Little Mermaid. Like the list goes on and on. I haven't seen the movie, the cartoon Aladdin, in so long. I used to watch it all the time when I was a kid. Robin Williams, man. That guy just could not miss. But playing this game made me want to watch it again. I think I might check it out this weekend. So anyways, joining me to talk Aladdin this week is the Abu to my... what's the name of the talking bird? Yago? Is that it? Yago? The Gilbert Gottfried bird. Anyway, I'm Gilbert Gottfried bird. And joining me is the Abu of Remember the Game, pending Hall of Famer Mark McCue, who was actually my guest for this first Aladdin Super Nintendo episode all those years ago. This should be a really good time. Maybe you can listen to it with your lover in the tub for Valentine's Day, although I wouldn't recommend it, as many find the combination of me and Mark irresistible, and you may lose your spouse. And we'll get to all that in just a minute, because speaking of being absolutely irresistible, it's time for another edition of the Remember the Game infamous intro. Dun, 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 dun! And if you're new to the podcast, welcome aboard. Consider this your warning. Our intros are kind of long. They're not that long, but they are kind of long. But they're fun. We talk video games and stuff, and you don't need to find a genie and use one of your 3 wishes to skip them. You just take your phone, slide it to about the 30-minute mark. You'll be into Aladdin talk, and then you don't have to yell at me. So, or just check out the intro because it's a good time, and I recommend looking. I put a lot of work into. I put more work into the intro than I do to the game chat, quite frankly. So I recommend giving it a chance. Let me get my plug in quickly, if you don't mind. It's how we keep the bills on around here. We have a Patreon. Remember the game, or patreon.com/remember the game. I should remember that by now. Our subscription started just $3 a month, so they're pretty cheap, and we'll give you a whole lot. You'll get Remember the Game ad-free. 365 episodes, one every day of the year now. Ad-free with timestamps. You also get access to Expansion Pass every Thursday, where we talk about some random video game topic. Game Patch every Tuesday, where we talk about video game news and all that. And then we have a Simpsons podcast that goes live every Monday, hosted by me and Mark McCue. And The Rambling Idiot goes live on Fridays, and that's just where I talk about my life, sports, whatever the fuck is on my mind. And not only do you get all those episodes and all those shows, but you can also write into the podcast, vote on the games we cover. February is our Pre-March Madness Patreon poll tournament extravaganza. We're in the middle of a 64-game tournament right now. New polls every day in the month of February, so you can vote in those. You can join our 1,000, we're almost 1,500 members in our Discord, so that's growing. And you get instant access to hundreds upon hundreds of archive bonus podcasts that have previously gone live for Patreons waiting for you over there. And I also stream at 11 a.m. till 1 p.m. Monday through Friday, so you get some of those if you are a Patreon as well. And most importantly, and on top of all of that, you get a shout-out and get to hear me mispronounce your name, like I'm definitely going to do to a couple of these people. A huge thank you to our newest Patreons, Mathieu Leboeuf. I think I ruined that, Mathieu. I apologize. Better Mousetrap Guitars, Captain Blaster, The Mighty Gene Jonator, Tom Heaton, Nick Pesetsky, Bradley Sondlin, Genova Death, Chris Herndon, John Martinson, and Evan Bollinger. I butchered a couple of those. Apologies. Wear it as a badge of honor. Thank you all so much for the support, and welcome to Remember the Game Industries. You can find all that information at patreon.com/remember the game. There's some free episodes over there if you want to give them a shot. Subscriptions start at $3 a month, and if you sign up for a full year, we'll give you a month on the house because it's just good business. That's enough blowing myself. Let's blow some of you by blowing in some cartridges. It is our opening segment here on the show. I read a few comments and questions from our Patreons, usually gaming related, but not always, and we call this segment Blowing in the Cartridge.
He blows all right. He blows big time.
That's it, honey. Get into the spirit.
Let's blow. Our first blower this week is SailorMan82, who says, "Hey, blanky blank, I have been on the good old Patreon since July 2025. I'm going through some old episodes, and I've heard some people call you Andy. Is there a story behind that? Thank you for your time." That's so polite. Thank you for your support, SailorMan82. I don't know if you are, but I like to imagine that you're like Captain McAllister from The Simpsons, SailorMan82, and just, yar, these podcasts will serve me well on those lonely nights at sea. And your Game Boy's gone. You just have to accept it. Shout out to Tony Gestad reference. Yeah, I do get called Andy a lot. For those that are wondering, I think I have a lot of stupid names. Like Mr. Blank, I get a lot, which is obviously a spoof on The Simpsons, Mr. Black. But Andy there was this article somebody posted years and years ago. The show was only a couple years old. We're like 150 episodes in. And somebody posted an article about the top 5 retro gaming podcasts that you need to be listened to. And fortunately, humbly, Remember the Game was among those 5. And they clearly, there's a lot of those like generic episodes. If you Google like top retro gaming podcasts, there's a ton of these, like, I don't know how they're generated, but like automatically generated lists that just list every podcast, presumably by their rankings at that any moment on like Apple Podcasts in Sweden or some shit like that. But this guy like actually just wrote a blog about 5 you need to listen to and picked us. And he clearly knew my podcast because he was referencing some of the inside jokes and stuff. But then he ended it by calling me Andy instead of Adam. And so that just is kind of stuck. So for anyone that's ever heard me called Andy, which frankly is one of the nicer things I get called on the internet these days, that is the origin story. My villain origin story of my alter ego, Andy Black. That's how it all began. So John C500 says, "Hey Adam, have you ever tried writing? It's been a keen interest of mine that I've considered for years, but I've been too shy to attempt. I started something last week that's related to the world of gaming and the words and just flowing onto the page. Currently at about 5,000. I'm really enjoying it. Hope you're all good, brother." I am good. I love writing. I don't do it as often as I should. I write 5 shows a week, so I guess I get my writing fix there. But I do genuinely enjoy writing. It's always been my lifelong dream. My lifelong dream has been to write a book, like write a novel. I don't know if I'll ever do it. I have started a couple and then been like, this sucks, and thrown it away. Which, by the way, if you're trying to write or create a podcast or anything, create, and you're like, this sucks, and you're throwing it away, you're doing yourself a disservice, okay? That's how it starts with comedy, too. You start out writing bad jokes, and then eventually you start figuring out how to write good jokes. And if you ask anyone and we have some authors in our ranks, I guarantee you most of them will be like, dude, the early stuff I wrote sucks, but you'll never get to writing good stuff if you don't start by writing bad stuff. So don't give up like I do, and so many have. So yes, I do really enjoy writing. I've actually thought about starting a video game blog just to try to attract more people to the podcast as well. It's just a time thing. The finger thing means the time. It's the time thing, and I just can't seem to find time to do everything that I want to do. But I really, really enjoy writing. It's a passion of mine, quite frankly. One of the only things I was good at school was writing. So I love it. It's good for you, John. Stick with it, buddy. Stick with it. Tommy Simps says, Mr. Blank, do you think Nintendo will drop any unannounced heavy hitter games this year? I have yet to buy a Switch 2 because the current lineup is simply not worth it for me, not at the current prices anyways, which are only going up, up, up. Yeah, that is the number one refrain from those that you have yet to purchase or have purchased and aren't happy with their Switch 2s, is that it just doesn't have any games. And I don't know if I agree that it doesn't have any games, but I won't disagree with someone saying there's nothing on it that interests you. Like Mario Kart World, it has if you like it, you like it. It's fine, but it's not great. Donkey Kong Bonanza is pretty solid. I like Metroid Prime 4 more than most, but it's only like a 15-hour game. Pokemon Legends ZA or whatever it was I didn't play it, but it was kind of a mixed bag of reviews. We got Mario Tennis coming out. We know we have a Fire Emblem coming this year. I guess for like a heavy hitter, you're thinking like a brand new Mario, a brand new Zelda, or a brand new Pokemon, because we know we have the Pokepocalypse or whatever the fuck that Poke Plaza game that's coming out is. I do think we get Pokemon Gen 10 this year. I think, because when was the last time we got like a regular Pokemon game? Was it Pokemon Scarlet Violet? And that was a few years ago, and we know that Pokemon's anniversary is coming up. So I think we're probably going to get Pokemon Gen 10, which is statistically about the biggest bullet in the chamber for Nintendo. I would love to be wrong on this. I don't think we get a new Mario this year, because we got Mario Wonder a couple years ago, and it's the Odyssey team was working on Bonanza. So I don't think we're getting a Mario this year. I think if we get a Zelda, it's a remake. Which, if it's the Ocarina of Time remake I've been calling for so long, I'm totally down with. But I think the biggest heavy hitter game Nintendo will announce this year is a new mainline, like Generation 10 or whatever gen we're on now, Pokemon game. That's my prediction, anyways. And I'm very excited for Mario Tennis this week. I know a lot of people aren't. I know people are like, Mario sports games have lost their way. I don't necessarily disagree. I haven't been totally hooked on a Mario sports game since the GameCube, but I keep buying them because I'm part of the problem blank, and I want one to hook me. And there's nary a Mario or sports game I love more than a good Mario Tennis. So I'm praying this one doesn't suck. I'll do an expansion pass review of this one in the next few weeks and let y'all know what I thought. Jesse Morin says, Adam, in all the Remember the Game episodes you've made, have you ever looked back and regretted giving a particular score to a game, either too high or too low? If so, what game was it, and what score would you give it now? If I'm being completely honest, the reason we came up with our stupid scoring system is because the scores we put on the games, for the most part, just go in one ear and out the other. Like, I do get asked that a lot. They're like, dude, on, either that or on this Play 1, Remake 1, Erase 1, you said this, but then later you said this. Or like, hey, you gave this game a score, but then you ranked it below this game. I have literally zero. There's so little if you were to score the logic that goes into the scores we put on games, I give it a 0 out of Q. Like, there's no reasoning behind it. So off the top of my head, is there, if I'm being honest, one game that I probably was too hard on was Alien Isolation. And I know some of you were probably hoping I would say Sonic Adventure 2. No, I don't like it. And I think Metal Gear Solid, I gave it its flowers. Even though I don't like the Metal Gear Solid games, I gave them their flowers. But Alien Isolation, like, I hate that fucking game. I don't remember what score I gave it, but I fucking hate that game. But I especially as the time has gone on and the wounds of my rage of the stealth have healed, I really have grown to respect what that game does. And I've watched more Alien movies since then and become a bigger fan of the franchise than I was. I don't know if I'm ever going to go back to it because I truly, from the bottom of my dark heart, detest stealth games. Like, I don't think they're bad. They're just not something that I enjoy. It's like everyone's got like a food they don't like. Stealth games are my food that I just don't like. So I don't know what score I gave it, but I was probably a little harder on it than I needed to be. So that's one that jumps out. But as far as an actual score, I genuinely don't remember what I gave. Fuck, what did we cover last week? Bionic Commando. Yeah, there's no logic here. It's just a bunch of stuff that happens. Fill up my mouth with farts wrote in and said, hi, Adam. Have you ever been playing a game and you get into a side quest that just doesn't seem to go anywhere? Like, I remember a quest where I caught the ferry over to Shelbyville. I needed a new heel for my shoe, so I decided to go to Morganville, which is what they called Shelbyville in those days. So I tied an onion to my belt, which was a style at the time. Now, to take the ferry cost a nickel, and in those days, nickels had pictures of bumblebees on them. Give me 5 bees for a quarter, you'd say. Now, where were we? Oh, yeah. The important thing was that I had an onion on my belt, which was a style at the time. They didn't have white onions because of the war. The only thing you could get were those big yellow ones. Shout out to anyone who gets that reference. I bet you at least one listener that doesn't get that reference turned the episode off right there. But the unwritten official rule of Remember the Game Industries is if your comment genuinely makes me laugh, like belly laugh, you're getting on the show. And Philip, I'm ashamed to admit that I read like 3 sentences of yours before I figured out what you were doing. And then I laughed and I was like, son of a bitch. He's contractually obligated to get on the show now. Well done, my friend. Well done. And yes, I do get... Dude, I'm actually playing... Sorry, if I can answer that seriously, though. I'm playing Oblivion right now to get ready for a long-away episode of the show. And fairly early on, there's this fucking mission. You get into this village, and there's this little guy. I can't remember his name. Starts with like a G, I think. But every night, he's like, meet me behind the church at midnight, and I'll give you more information. And then he gives you information, and his information is like, I think this person's stalking me. Go follow them. And I kept trying to follow them, and I don't know. I found that to be a very tedious. I'm gonna be honest. At the end, when he asked me to whack everybody that told me to follow him, I gave it to the 2 brothers, and they killed him for me. They annoyed the shit out of me. But that actually was a side quest that I felt wasn't going anywhere. I am digging Oblivion though. Hello, Mr. Thompson. Says, Adam, you're pulling an all-night gaming fest, but because you're in your 40s, you only last until 2 a.m. and you pass out. You wake up on a stage in front of an audience of Gen Z and Gen Alphas at a future gamers convention. What do you tell these future gamers? You know what? If I'm going to give genuine advice, if I'm talking to any of you young gamers out there, number 1, stay away from loot packs in video games. They're just trying to help you develop a gambling addiction, and they're bad. Number 2, don't talk to anybody on Roblox. People are fucking creeps and weirdos. Just don't do that. And number 3, don't ignore retro games. Don't ignore the games that your parents, your grandparents, your aunts, your uncles played just because you look at them and think the graphics look stupid or they look kind of boring. There are some gems in there. Okay? It's like you wouldn't ignore old movies, and you wouldn't ignore old music, and you wouldn't ignore old TV shows, and you wouldn't ignore old books. Don't ignore old video games, okay? Play some Super Mario World. Play some Sonic the Hedgehog. Play some... I don't know. Play some WWF No Mercy and just respect where games came from. That would be my advice. Also, I would yell at them to fucking get off the phone, pull their pants up, and what else do kids do today that bothers me? I don't know. Stay off my lawn or something. I don't fucking know. A waste of talent. Says, what's going on, man? I was wondering if you ever played the Sega Dreamcast back in the day, and if so, did you ever play it with the online feature? I tried so many times to play online back then, but I could never figure it out. I still have my system. I would have loved to have played Power Stone online. Even tried reading the manual, and still nada. Did you have any luck? Plus, the swirly logo for the Dreamcast was just mwah, chef's kiss. I gotta be honest, I think I've said this before. I think the 3 most underrated consoles in the history of gaming are the PS Vita, the Nintendo GameCube, and the Sega Dreamcast. But I did not ever. I didn't play a Sega Dreamcast until I got into collecting games my first time around, which was mid-2000s, probably. Fuck, Shay and I hadn't even bought our first house yet. So that was, Jesus, yeah, probably like 05, 06, 07. Somewhere in there. That was the first time I got my hands on a Sega Genesis or a Sega Dreamcast, and I only had a few games for it. So I still think it's a great console, but no, I didn't play it back in the day. And I hate to say that, but I grew up a Nintendo kid, and then I didn't pay a lot of attention to Sega back in the day, but I remember seeing like the 32X, the Sega CD, the Sega Saturn, and being kind of just like, I don't know anything about how these consoles work. I'm a Nintendo kid. but I was like, this seems very confusing. So by the time they released the Dreamcast, I was just kind of like, fuck off, get out of here. Like I had my Nintendo 64, I had my PS1, and I didn't know what I had until it was gone. I wish I had shown the Dreamcast more love. Like I'm sure many of you did as well, because who knows, maybe they'd still be around today. Maybe they would. I don't know. But I didn't. But I do love it now. I don't have one, but I'd really like to get a hold of one for my collection, but like they're not cheap. And well, I think it's a cool system. I don't know how much is on it that I can't just play somewhere else. You know? But maybe someday. Oh, and I gotta say, well, I do think the Dreamcast is underrated. The controller cord coming out of the bottom was a horrible fucking decision. Like, I get they were trying to leave that memory card slot at the top, but if you're trying to sit max length from your console, it's so obnoxious that the cord's on the bottom, pulling the bottom of your controller out. Horrible design. I hope somebody got fired for that blunder. And finally, before we move out of this section, it's letter time. It's letter time. Nick GC says, in your opinion, is gaming going the way of events-based consumption? It seems like something will drop and be hot for a short period of time, and then it'll be lost to the darkness that is our gaming libraries and attention spans. It feels like long gone are the days of multiple playthroughs and games becoming classics. Battlefield, Helldivers 2, Warzone, Arc Raiders, Expedition 33, games that won awards or were big in the media only to slowly fade or expect to fade. Are games even more one and done these days? I do think yes. I gotta tell you, outside of Nobody Saves the World, which I jumped back in for a second playthrough of right away, I don't remember the last time I jumped right back into a game and did another playthrough. Like, it's very, very rare. And I don't think I'm the optimal test subject for this debate / conversation / topic, because it's my job to play games for the show, so I'm constantly trying to like motor through games and be like, I gotta get to the next game. But even my friends and people I know that are not under the pressure to get through as many games as they can, I can't imagine anyone listening to this that still games doesn't have a backlog from hell. It's just what everybody does. And I do think part of it is our attention spans. I know my attention span is fucked now, because of our smartphones and all the availability of media and all that. But I also think there's just so many games now. Like I'm trying to think. I'm telling you, if you weren't around for it, the launch of Halo 2 was something special. That's always the one I think back to. The launch of Halo 2 was fucking wild. I was working in my first warehouse job when Halo 2 dropped, and so many of my friends worked there also got Halo. Like, dude, the day after Halo 2 dropped, there were so many people coming in just exhausted, calling in sick, and we were all talking about the campaign and all the fucking things you could do and what a crazy event that was. And like, you played that game for months. And now there's just, I think part of it is our attention spans, but part of it is there's just so many games now. There's so many more than there used to be. And when you add in indie games and you add in all the free games and you add in mobile games and you add in the game sales and you add in subscriptions like PS Plus and Game Pass, so you've instantly got access to all these games. Dude, you go on Steam and you can buy you're buying games by the pound on Steam when the sale's running, for fuck's sakes. I think not everybody, I think a lot of people almost feel obligated to drop a game and get to another one because they have so many sitting in their backlog, So I think it's a what's the word I'm looking for? Not assortment, not variety, a collection of reasons as to why games are definitely going the way of events-based consumption. Like, you grab them when they're hot, and then they're not hot anymore. And that's why so many of these live service games die on the vine. And I think this, when one catches on, like Helldivers 2 did, like Arc Raiders did, you gotta do everything you possibly can. Like, free rimmers, please keep playing our game. Like, you need to do whatever the fuck you can do to keep people on your game, because it is such a fickle gaming unit. Like, I'm very interested to see what Marathon does to Arc Raiders, which is already slowing down. I loved Arc Raiders for about 2 months, and I was like, I don't play this anymore. Like, it's fucking insanity how fast games are in and out anymore. So yeah, they have gone that way. And I'd say that's a bad thing, but I love having more games. Like, I grew up in that generation where I had an NES and I had like 6 games to play. And now I'm like, I got 6 million games to play. It's a good thing, mostly. But yeah, it is. It has absolutely gone that way. I agree. Well said. Good point. Well done. That's why I got the letter time letter. We got to keep this ball rolling, everybody. Thank you so much to everyone that wrote into the show. I'll answer a few more of those comments on the Rambling Idiot on Friday in our Left Blover segment. But for now, let's switch things up and get to our Smash Hit segment, the official game show of Remember the Game Industries. Play one, remake one, erase one. And a huge thank you to Classic Concentration from the NES for unknowingly providing us with the theme music for the show. The rules are simple. Every week, I give our patrons 3 retro video games. They can play one as it was released, remake one as a modern game, and the third is erased from time forever. And as always, there are no wrong answers, but there is a right one. I'll tell you what it is in just a minute. This week, we're talking Aladdin. So I went with 3 additional Disney Sega Genesis games. We got Pocahontas, The Lion King, and The Jungle Book. And this was a blowout. 46% of you voted to play The Jungle Book, remake The Lion King, and erase Pocahontas. 46%. Anytime it's over 30, it's too much. 46. I suck. This is a bad one. So let's see what a few of you had to say here, and then I'll tell you what the right answer was. Bort License Plates says play Pocahontas. I honestly didn't even know this was a game, and it looks pretty fun. I'll give it a whirl. Remake The Jungle Book. Hot take, this game was a lot of fun, and the soundtrack was great. Could do with a little polishing to make it even better. Then erase The Lion King. The OG, the grandpappy of them all. I don't care. I could never beat this game, even as an adult. I bet my son that if he could beat it, I'd buy him his own Switch too. He gave up after a month, but he got further than I ever did. It's only one of the 3 I've played. The Lion King's great, but it will fuck you up. I agree with that. Boy, I'm going to fuck this up. Godefroy Lagredun. I think I butchered that. That's my le français. Says, play The Jungle Book because I never have and it seems fun. Erase Pocahontas because that's the rules. And remake The Lion King, although the platforming in that game deserves the Mufasa treatment. I just can't bring myself to erase a game about one of my favorite Disney movies ever. So a quick graphic cleanup and a complete rehaul of the platforming aspects and we would have a gem. It is the platforming. That is the problem. I agree. Osama bin Laden said, I'm going to go with the path less traveled this week. I own a complete Disney Genesis collection. I've played and beaten all of them. So I'm going to play The Lion King. Great game and definitely 16-bit tough. It holds up across the board. Remake Pocahontas. This is key. I think Pocahontas is the best Disney title in a stacked Genesis library. Its gameplay is wholly unique. It's a puzzle platformer and it offers some wonderful visuals and music, but the controls are a bit sticky. Redo those and we're gold. Erase The Jungle Book. Great game, but not exactly unique. There's nothing wrong with it in any way, but it just doesn't shine when compared to the other 2. I mean, if you're not an expert, you fucking wrote like you are one. I respect that. Guy Speak Beaver says, let's be real. The only thing the masses want to see are those hitboxes in The Lion King fixed. In that vein, I would play Pocahontas because I never have, remake The Lion King to fix the god-awful monkey level, and erase The Jungle Book because, while it's a serviceable game, it's nothing to write home about. Just to write to a podcast. An agitated intern said, I'm incredibly stoked to play this week. I'd play The Jungle Book because I never have, and I wouldn't mind some old school fun. I'll remake The Lion King just to fix that broken ass second level, and sadly I'll erase Pocahontas because those are the rules. You know, I will say for the record, well, I don't have a beef with anyone that has a beef with that second level of The Lion King. Like, when I was playing that game for the show, once I figured out the pattern, I was like, well, this is easy. Now you just play through the pattern. There are other levels that fucking level where you need to climb the logs that are coming down the waterfall. That's the one. Wow. Choking on my own rage here. That's the one. I'm gonna go with 26% of you. The runner-up option on the poll was the way I voted. So 26% of you were right, as was Owlet, who said I've never played any of these, so I'm gonna make my choices based on how I feel about the movies. Play The Lion King. It's my dad's favorite Disney movie, and it has the best music. Remake The Jungle Book because I think it has the best story out of the 3, and delete Pocahontas because Avatar does it better. I've never seen Pocahontas. Listeners, do I need to watch Pocahontas? I've never seen it. Is this something I'm going to like? I liked Fern Gully. Would I like Pocahontas? I'm just asking because you said Avatar. And that reminded me of Fern Gully, but I thought Fern Gully was better. Anyway, same order for me. I'm going to play The Lion King. It's the only one of the 3 I've played. And normally I wouldn't keep that one. I'd get rid of it because I've played and I want to experience new games. But I need to beat it. So The Lion King is one of those ones that I need to just, now that I'm finally finished that Mario ROM hack, I need to go back to Battletoads. And then I need to go to Lion King and get it done. So I'm going to play Lion King. I'm going to remake The Jungle Book because I remember really, really liking that movie. And swinging around the jungle with modern graphics could be a lot of fun. And I'm going to erase Pocahontas because I've never seen the movie, so I don't know what the game is about. Plus, we have the superior but horribly named Pukahontas. So we don't need it. Shout out to anyone who gets that reference. Thank you, everyone that wrote in and played along, as always. What have I been playing over the last week? I am so fucking happy to announce that after about 50 hours, including probably 25 hours on the last level, I have beaten... And pretty much, I think I missed one exit, and I don't know where it was, and I'm not going back. But I pretty much 100%ed that ROM hack, Super Mario World, the Second Reality Project, that I've been playing for months. Holy fuck. Thank you to everybody that was there for the 3-hour stream on Friday when I finally beat that end level. For everyone watching or asking if I'm going to stream it on Twitch, I may do it on Twitch someday. I did keep this one pretty much exclusive to Patreon. I may do another playthrough on Twitch someday, but I'm going to go back to Battletoads as my tough game I'm working on Twitch pretty soon, I think. And then I've been playing Metroid Prime 2, which will be the next episode of Remember the Game. I've been playing Elder Scrolls Oblivion, which will be a someday episode of Remember the Game. I've been playing Aladdin for the Sega Genesis, which you're going to hear about in about 10 seconds. And then I'm still very, very casually chipping away at my playthrough of Cyberpunk. My third attempt at playing through Cyberpunk 2077. And I love that game. If you're like, why have it taken you 3 tries? I love that game. I just keep getting distracted and not coming back to it. So, all right, that's where we are now. Let's pause here. We'll let a sponsor in, peddle their wares. I'll play an old video game commercial. And when we get back, it's all about Aladdin, okay? Remember the Game will return after these messages.
Get this! At school I found this magic lamp, and I wished for Disney's Aladdin for my Sega Genesis. It's like the movie! I got to battle sword-slashing thieves, and nasty palace guards, and ride a flying carpet. And I still have 2 more wishes. Prove it!
Sega Genesis and Disney's Aladdin game cartridge, each sold separately.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Do you ever feel like your relationships are the only ones that aren't perfect? Especially with social media these days, it's so easy to peek at other people's lives and feel like they have it all together and you're just barely hanging on. But the truth is, nobody's perfect. And whether you're married, you're dating, you're single, therapy can help you have better relationships with the people you care about by helping you identify what you want out of life and what's bringing you down. BetterHelp can be an awesome way to take the therapy plunge. Their industry-leading match fulfillment rate means they do a great job of pairing you with one of their 30,000-plus therapists that are best suited to your needs. And if the pairing isn't a match, you can switch therapists anytime. Sessions can take place online as well, so you can meet with your therapist when and how it works best for you. BetterHelp has served over 6 million people globally, and they're rocking a 4.9 out of 5 average rating when it comes to their live therapy sessions. Sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/rememberthegame. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/rememberthegame. All right, let's talk some Aladdin. As always, I like to let you nerds sound off on the game we're covering before my guest and I hog, for lack of a better term, the microphone. So let's see what some of you had to say. Long comments this week, but I love the passion of so many of you. So I'm going to try to read as many of these as I can. I'm just going to go a little quick. Joey Jojo says, growing up, we didn't have cable. We had a VCR and a few VHS tapes. Aladdin was one of them, and I remember watching it over and over. I remember long debates in my head about wanting a Genesis or a Super Nintendo. I landed on Sega. Christmas morning, we always opened our gifts in my grandma's house, and I brought my Sega Genesis over to her place and hooked it up. One of my gifts on that snowy morning was this awesome game, and I was so excited to get to spend Christmas morning playing it for hours on that little TV. Some of my favorite childhood memories. Everybody that grew up gaming has at least one fond Christmas memory of playing games, don't they? Everybody has to. Everybody. So many of mine. So many. Phoenix Wrong said, I picked this up as a scrub game at my local mom and pop game store one day, mostly because my Genesis collection was sorely lacking compared to my Super Nintendo collection. No regrets. Do any of you still enjoy the soundtrack of this game despite it almost sounding like a bootleg? No? Just me? That's all right, I guess. I think the soundtrack sounds fucking awesome. I think there's a better soundtrack than the Super Nintendo one. I think the Genesis has better sound, period. But I love the soundtrack in this game. I think it is superb. Jamie Rostand says, I had a great time playing this with my uncle when I was a kid. He would later gift it and the console to me and my brothers. It was like they squeezed the movie into a game cartridge. It was tough, but once we learned the level skip cheat, start AABB, AABB, AABBA, I think, we used to play whatever we wanted or whatever level we wanted to play. Playing it now, I think it still holds up. I've been struggling to read comments for like 2 days. I'm worried I'm fucking having a stroke or something. But could be the toast smell too. But no, man, that's good stuff, Jamie. What a nice uncle. My uncle wouldn't give me any of his games. That's nice. Moncal says, hey, Mr. Blake, I was a Nintendo kid and I had no idea how the other half lived. I assumed that the Super Nintendo and Genesis versions of Aladdin were the same. Boy, was I missing out. This Genesis version of Aladdin is the best example of Sega does Nintendo what Nintendo I've ever seen. Aladdin for the SNES feels like the same old licensed platformer that Nintendo from that era makes. They slap a badge on a basic game and hope the movie/show it's attached to hits, basic and benign. Throw apples or bop them on the head to set the tone from the Sega start start screen, a gunshot and a dead Yago, a complete Sega game with nuances like checkpoints, in-game purchase power-ups, great chip tunes, and a Disney character that's all about hack and slash. It's pure 90s Sega game. Taking an IP and building a game from scratch, not recycling a smooth playing gem. I mean, for the record, I think Capcom made the Super Nintendo. I don't mean to be the actually guy, because that's not me. I think Capcom made the Super Nintendo one, but I do agree the Genesis one is superior. That I concur with. Sega does do what Nintendo don't. I agree. Michael Patrick says, I loved this game as a kid. The music was crisp. The level designs were fun. My only gripe is that Jafar was a bitch. I could beat him in a coma. Definitely the better version, though, because you get a sword. Dude, the final boss, Jafar is a fucking bitch in this game. What a weak-ass final boss. Just beat him with a dozen apples and run around. Fucking ass. And Rage George says, so many memories of this game. I still remember the cheat code to skip levels, ABBAABBA. The graphics were great. Sound effects were great. The music, I can hear it in my head now. I beat it so many times as a kid. I wonder if Angry Adam made an appearance in the later levels. I cannot wait for this episode. I don't get super angry. I do think the genie's lamp is horseshit. But other than that, I don't think I got that mad. I was more mad at how shitty the final boss was. But let's talk about all that right now with my boy Mark McCue. I'm going to fire up some Aladdin music. And when it stops, we'll take you back to October 19th of 1993 and talk Aladdin, the superior version for the Sega Genesis. Enjoy the episode, everybody. Here we go. All right, joining me via the blank phone to talk some Aladdin for the Sega Genesis is the same guy who joined me via the blank phone to talk some Aladdin for the Super Nintendo. I think in the intro, I called him the, what's the monkey's name? Abu?
Abu, yeah.
Yeah, I think I called you the Abu to my loudmouth bird. But you could also be the genie, whatever you want. I don't give a fuck. You're the guest.
I could see being either. I'm okay being Abu.
Yeah, you're loyal and a good friend like Abu, but you're charming and blue like a genie. So either one could play. It's pending Hall of Famer Mark McCue. If he was really a genie, he'd be in the Hall of Fame.
So twisted.
Fuck. Dude, we were just talking off air. I love this movie, but I have not seen Aladdin. It's gotta be 25 plus years. Like, I was a little kid. I used to watch this VHS all the time, but I haven't seen it forever.
The first movie I saw in movie theaters. I remember my grandparents took me to see it because I knew a movie. Like, I thought a movie was like something that you owned.
Yeah.
Like, you could hold in your hands. Like, you would then put into the VHS and it would play. So when they told me we were going to go see a movie, I thought we were going to go look at like a fucking,
I guess, yeah, until you've gone to the
VHS
movies.
copy of Aladdin for some reason.
Yeah, until you've gone to the movies, you just assume movies are what you watch on video tapes.
Yeah,
I guess that makes sense. Yeah, fair enough. Well, we're talking Aladdin for the Genesis this week. Now, we just mentioned before the show, I didn't even realize it, but you were my guest for the Super Nintendo one. Almost better. 5 years ago.
I'll say this on the record. This one's the better game version.
100%. That's what I was going to ask you. Now that I've played both, because I remember back when we did the Super Nintendo episode, and I had so many people be like, "What are you doing? Cover the Super Nintendo one. The Sega Genesis one is better." And I was like, "I'm a loyal Super Nintendo kid. Shut your hole."
Shut your hole.
Sorry, that's Purple Monkey Dishwasher bleeding into Remember the Game a little bit. But now that I've actually played the Sega Genesis version, I'm not saying the Super Nintendo one's not bad. Like, the Super Nintendo one is very, very good. I enjoyed it as well. But this is the better game.
It is. And I've always been a Nintendo kid, but the Sega Genesis version of this game I have more of a history with, because when I went to college, in our little student lounge, there was a Sega Genesis that only had Sonic. So I remember I went to like a secondhand game store and I picked up a bunch of games for the Sega Genesis, and this was one of them. And man, I played this so much this year. I think I failed classes because of this game.
Man, I have to just say, this isn't me throwing shade at you Sega kids, but it's just I never, because I had a Sega, like my main exposure to the Genesis growing up was they had one at my dentist office in the waiting room, and we'd always play it there. And like no one ever is like, oh man, we had a Super Nintendo in the lobby or in the waiting room, but it seems like the Sega Genesis was like the communal system.
Yeah,
like every story I hear, It's just
yeah, you
coincidence.
know what? And like, 'cause I think I think the Super Nintendo is more like, no, that's mine. It's personal.
Yeah, because it's better. Just not in
Just not this game.
Yeah, just not Aladdin. Just quickly before we move on, do you remember any of the other games you had? Like you said, you had Sonic and you had Aladdin. Do you remember anything else?
We had NHL,
Nice.
then Sonic and Knuckles.
Lock on technology.
Yeah. Oh,
That was
we
pretty
had some-
fucking. That was pretty revolutionary back in the day, man.
And I think we had Lion King as well. I didn't like that one as much.
I quite like we did Lion King on the show a couple years ago. I quite like that game, but that one is tough. That one will fuck you up. Like for
Now, this
kid's
game was fucking hard too. Like there are levels of this game that can eat my fucking ass. But
Oh yeah,
I did it. I got through it.
I agree, and like I will get into that because I agree. I actually found this one. I think it's one of the reasons I like the Genesis one more than the Super Nintendo one. Is I found the SNES Aladdin very like I don't mean to make this episode into a comparison. I want to talk about the Genesis one, but I just like to explain why I personally like this one better than the Super Nintendo one. Number one is I found this one had much sharper teeth. Like the Super Nintendo one's a great game, but I beat the Super Nintendo one. I think on my first I just walked through it. Like I did not find it difficult. This one, there's a couple of levels like in the back half of the game. They'll fuck you up. There's a couple of levels in this one that get like I personally think the inside the lamp level is borderline bullshit. Quite frankly, that's the level that irritated me.
Dude, I fucking
inside
love
the
that
lamp.
level though. Like it's so charming.
Yeah, but it's fucking cheap as shit.
Yeah, it's really fucking cheap. You're right.
Made me crazy. It plays like what this game plays like, and I rarely do my homework, but I guess a lot of people that worked on Earthworm Jim worked on this game. It plays like Earthworm Jim. Like,
oh, that makes sense. That does make sense. Yeah.
right? Like there's so many platforms and floors where you're not sure if you can go through them or stand on them. And then the one major gripe I have with this one and that fucking the lamp level and that fucking cave are the two that really pointed it out to me.
Dude,
when
the
he
Cave of
jumps-
Wonders can fuck right off.
Yeah. When he jumps like straight up. Like you get no fucking distance at all. And I found that
and like that was the
frustrating.
thing. Like there are certain like it needed to have more of a curved jump. You're right.
Yeah, like give me another 20 degrees. And that could be the Mario fan in me. Like I know how I likes my jumps and that's how I likes them, but I did find the jumping to get a little bit tedious. And then that fucking lamp level.
And then there are certain levels where like the only way that you could possibly beat them is by playing them multiple times. Like there are certain like especially in like the Cave of Wonders, like there will be obstacles that will fuck you up, and the only way to know that they're coming is if you play them level multiple times and you memorize it.
Dude, that and for the record, like I can't speak on behalf of Mark. That's not a criticism from me. That's retro gaming. Is when your game can be beaten in less than an hour, it needs to kill you 100 times. Because otherwise you beat the game in a weekend and then you don't need to buy it because you rent it all the time.
Well, and that's the thing. That's why they did that, is because this is when like,
100%.
people would go to Blockbuster to rent games. So they would make the games hard enough that you couldn't just beat them in a weekend.
Yeah, 100%. That fucking, where I ran into that, the whole like you just had to know was the escape.
Dude, because like there are parts where it'll tell you like, okay, you got to go up, you got to go down, you got to, I don't know, and then it'll give you a question mark, like I don't know where you got to go, and it's
that question mark. What the fuck is that? Like, for those that haven't played it, there's this fucking. It's a great segment. It's one of the coolest segments of the game. Is you're trying to get out of this like flaming cave and you're on the magic carpet or rug or whatever the fuck it is, and it's almost like a Battletoads speed bikes. Like you're steering them like up and down, and it'll warn you like go up, go down, and you're trying to dodge rocks and fly to this cave. But then you hit a couple of moments near the end where it literally, it's question mark, and then you just have to hope you guess the right way. And I was not that I died in there a ton, because you die once, it's not the end of the world. But I was like, what kind of Tom fuckery is that? Give me up with half a second to react over like question mark. Like, why not just make it a big middle finger? Like, you use a finger to go up and down to tell me which way to go. So why not just have the genie give you the middle finger?
It's the big blue middle finger.
And you have no time to react once you see it. So you literally are just guessing and hope you guessed up or down. That was Tom fuckery. And then also, even before you're on the magic rug trying to get out of there, the flying rug, there's like the parts where you're in like the cavern and the giant boulders come down. And then there's all these like apples and jewels in that little cavern. But if you jump up to grab any of them, it slows you down too much. And then the giant rock kills you.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this level is bullshit. Bullshit.
Those are the two bullshittiest levels of this. And you can tell that they did that as like a way to like block progression. Like they have like a pretty easy first half of the game, and then they've got like a moderately hard second half of the game. But like right in the middle just had these two fuck you levels.
Yeah, I found the game because I mentioned that one of the things I like about this game is that it's got sharper teeth than the Super Nintendo version. I found it very I don't think I died maybe once. I didn't really die until the Cave of Wonders. Like the first half of the level game, pretty like you're gonna take some damage and like maybe you'll get unlucky and die like once, but it's pretty easy.
I actually was reading that like one of the like some of the reviews that came out about this game, like some of the criticism was that the game was too easy. And it's like
I disagree. Like it was like if you want to compare it to like the only other Disney Genesis game that I've played is The Lion King, and if you're comparing it to The Lion King, it is too easy because The Lion King is fucking Battletoads.
Yeah, Lion King, especially that one level, like, and it's the same. It's that one level right in the middle where they're like, "What the fuck, man?"
Yeah, Lion King will destroy you. Whereas this one, I saw that too. I saw some people say that it was too easy, and like, I'm not sitting here saying that this is fucking lost levels or something, but like, I didn't find this to be like a cakewalk. Bosses, yes, bosses.
This is not a Go Dog Go video game.
No, I agree. I found that like toward the end, it had some teeth. Like it was beatable. Like I beat it in a couple hours, like in an afternoon.
Yeah, poor Linnea just had to hear me listen to me scream at my fucking TV this weekend.
Oh yeah, the classic retro rage.
Yeah.
Is it not? Dude, I'll tell you, I rage in modern games too, but there's just the rage hits different when it's a retro game. I don't know why. They just have a different level of bullshittery to them.
Yeah. You
know what I mean?
And I think it is because they did do things like the fucking question mark. Like now if a game is hard, it's like, oh, you need to master the mechanics and really like figure out how the game's like the mechanics of the game in order to like beat the last level. And I get that. Like there's always going to be a difficulty spike right in the middle. But like, yeah, right in the middle of the game, this game just like fucks with you. And it's like,
yeah. Well, and modern games are so forgiving with the checkpoints and infinite lives and that kind of stuff, right? Whereas these ones are like, oh, fuck you out of lives, fuck you about it. Like this one is incredibly generous with its checkpoints. Those genie head lamps, I played on normal. Maybe on hard it's different, but on normal, they're giving you a checkpoint every time you make a jump. Like
except for there's none in the Cave of Wonders. Like every other level has checkpoints except for that one.
Yeah, the Cave of Wonders fucking irritated me. And for like, make no mistake, for those of you that are like, oh, I was hoping they'd like this game, I really, really like this game. Like it's gonna get a good score. I really like this game. I'm just getting it out there. I thought that was kind of bullshit. The Cave of Wonders and the question mark on the fucking rug was horseshit. And I have to just say, I hate boss fights, but I don't know what I hate more. I don't know if I hate really long, drawn out bullshit boss fights, or if I hate like, what the hell was that boss fights? Because this is a what the hell was that? You, Jafar, you have played this whole game expecting Jafar to drop the hammer and be like, not on my watch. And then all he does is turns into a snake that doesn't move, and you just jump back and forth over him, throwing apples at his head till he dies.
Now, I'll be honest, I did struggle with, okay, it took me a few times to beat Jafar just because, like, I didn't realize that the platforms, when you jumped on them, would light on fire.
Sure.
Um, and then, like, there's the fire that was coming, so you had to, like, continuously jump over those. But, like, once you got the rhythm of it, you're like, oh, okay, I got this.
Yeah, that's it, right? And that's just retro gaming 101 is figure out the pattern of the boss and then use it and kill them. But I was like, I found that like I found it on like my second attempt, and I was like, really? I kept waiting for like something to change, and I was like, really? That's it, eh? Okay. Just keep running back and forth above him, and he can't. And that was something else I saw in the reviews after I finished. And I was reading other people's thoughts, is they were just like, "This is the weakest end boss, maybe of any game in the history of humanity." And I was like, I kind of agree, because he's a cool character, Jafar, but his shit final boss. Shit.
I do remember the first time that I got to Jafar. I thought, like, oh, there's no way we're at Jafar yet. Like, because I'm so familiar with the movie, I'm like, no, there's still so much that has to happen in this story. We're just jumping straight to Jafar. Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, like, to be fair, like, they have to take creative license with that shit. Actually, if we're talking about the things where it's like that were different from the movie, what's the name of? Is it Jasmine? Is that the princess in this one?
Yeah.
Jasmine, dude, where the fuck is she?
Yeah, you know what? She's nowhere in this game until the end
No.
credits.
This one is more just about this angry man with a sword and disdain for apples killing people than it is about rescuing a princess.
The Genesis does not pass the Bechdel test.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I was like, I kept waiting for like something with her, and I'm like, no, okay, all right, we're just writing her out, eh? Okay, fair enough. That obviously the sword is one of the big talking points in this one.
Yeah, like,
that he has a sword.
Straight up kills people.
Yeah. I did see some people voice a criticism of that and be like, I don't remember all the scenes in the movie where he was walking around stabbing people with a sword. But I gotta say, if my two choices are a sword with apples as projectiles or just running around throwing apples, I'll take the sword.
Yeah.
I like
it's
that.
a video game, and it's like yeah, video games are always going to be like combat centric, or at the very least like games like this. But
that being said, the sword kind of sucks. Like, it's great that you have one, but dude, there's so many enemies where I found it like a lot of the big guards, like the ones that were like, come on, and stuff like that. I found it very tough to get close enough to them without getting at least hit once.
Yeah, so like most of them you have to hit with apples anyway.
Yeah, I was just whipping apples anyways. Also, shout out in particular to the big fat guards that would get hit by things and their pants would fall down. Call me a child, if you will, but that will never not be funny to me.
Now, I do know that like Disney worked fairly closely with this game studio to like provide the animation, and like you can really tell like the animations are like really good in this game.
Yeah, that's one of the things I prefer. Like, listen, I know some of my fellow Super Nintendoians are gonna hate on me for this, but like I've said it countless times, I've always thought the Sega games as a whole, I just think are better looking than Super Nintendo games. Like Sonic.
Yeah, they've got the blast processing.
They had that blast processing, exactly. Yeah, but it's true. And like I look at this game and like I went back and watched a playthrough of the Super Nintendo one, or at least a couple of levels, just to like refresh myself. And I do think the Super Nintendo one looks really good too. And it's got great backgrounds. It's designed by Capcom, and like it's got that Capcom stink on it. Like it looks good, but the animations of the characters and their sprite art and everything in this one, this is I might go as far as to say the best looking game I've played on the Sega Genesis.
Yeah, you know what? You wouldn't necessarily be wrong. And one of the things that I was reading about the history of this game is that Disney were like insistent that this game was going to be a tentpole game for Sega. They're like, we need you to treat this game the same as you would like a Sonic game.
Yeah. Well, and it shows. I read that it's one of the best selling games in the Genesis library. And every time I bring up the Sega, this game comes up. People are like, and even, I gotta be honest with you, dude, like I never played this growing up, but even when I think of the Sega Genesis, like I think of Sonic, I think of Echo the Dolphin, I would quite regularly think of Aladdin and the Lion King, despite the fact that they're on the Super Nintendo as well. Like they were just so synonymous to me with the Sega Genesis for some reason. Maybe it was the marketing when I was a kid. I don't know, but like it's one of the games I think of.
But they really, really marketed this game is the other thing. Like there were like commercials on TV for this.
Yeah, I played one in this episode already. It'll be a bit in the intro. Like I didn't play with you, but it's in the intro. The
Oh,
Sega
nice.
Genesis. Yeah. No, it's and just for the record, the end of that commercial. So this kid is like, "Hey guys, look, I found this genie lamp, and then I wished for a copy of Aladdin for the Sega Genesis." And he's like, "And I still have 2 wishes left." And one of his friends is like, "Prove it." And then the other friend turns into a dog. And then the friend that said "prove it" starts laughing, and then that kid turns into a fire hydrant. And that was the end of the commercial. I was like, that's a good fucking commercial, man.
That's really funny. But
Yeah.
also, like, you've just wasted 3 wishes.
You did absolutely waste the wishes. But you know what? If I have to waste my wishes doing something, I mean, I guess, like, is that considered, like, is that murder? Like to turn him
The
into a fire hydrant?
for sure is. The dog maybe not, but
Like, you didn't do it, the genie did.
ooh, I guess. And that's the thing. That's one of the rules that the genie, he can't kill anybody.
I remember that from the movie. Yeah, when he's like explaining the rules with the signs and stuff.
I can't kill anybody, so don't ask.
I remember that. Yeah.
I
Dude, this sounds
can't
like a
kill
fucking
anybody.
trial. This sounds like a Lionel Hutz trial.
Yeah.
Like, but did he kill him or did the genie kill him? Like, I rest my case. Anyway, sorry. I'm used to talking Simpsons with Mark. Purple Monkey Dishwasher's bleeding good. Here, let me let's just get the ad out of the way because I want to talk about the music. I want to go through the levels. Let's just get it out of the way now, and then the sponsors won't yell at me, and then we'll come back and we'll continue to talk about killing people with genies.
Okay.
Remember the game will return after these messages.
It's the world of Disney's Aladdin, filled with danger, adventure, and magical things. It's all in the new Aladdin handheld game. You can guide Aladdin through the marketplace and into the Cave of Wonders, where he can call on the genie and the magic carpet for help. If you can help Aladdin defeat Jafar and free Jasmine, you win. Disney's Aladdin. Batteries not included. New from Tiger.
All right, so I feel like we've kind of dunked on it a little bit, but yeah, graphically it looks incredible. The enemies look great. The levels look great. I gotta say too, like someone in the comments mentioned they didn't particularly like the music. I think this game sounds fucking awesome.
Now refresh my memory. Did the Super Nintendo one? Did that not have the music? Like
it's been for some years, right? So
Yeah,
if I'm wrong,
same.
please don't yell at me in the comments. I want to say it had Show You the World. Or no, A Whole New World.
Yeah,
Because I feel like I've heard a chiptune version of that before.
but there's a chiptune version that starts this game.
Yeah. Like I know this one's got it, and this one's got that it's from the first level.
It's got Prince Ali. It's
Yeah, that's the one
got,
I'm thinking of.
One Step Ahead. It has Friend Like Me.
This one has quite like
It has.
not-
I think it has all of the. I think it has all the songs in it.
yeah, and I honestly can't remember. I can remember if the Super Nintendo one does or not. But the point is, this one has them, and they sound great. Like it
Arabian
does.
Nights is the other one they have.
That's it. Yeah. Like this one feels like you're playing the only way this doesn't feel like playing the movie is obviously they take some liberties with like levels and skipping
And the
stuff.
story
and-
they kind of like scrunch down a little bit, but
Yeah, I gotta say that was one aspect of this that like I don't care. I saw it taking some shit online that they didn't spend as much time on the story with this one. They just had those like little fucking title cards and they were moving on. But I just was like, is anybody playing this for the story?
no,
Like,
and
everyone knows
kind
the
of a
story.
cool. It's just kind of a cool platformer. It doesn't really need the story, right?
It's just a bunch of stuff that happened.
It's
like
just a bunch of stuff that happened.
but seriously, like I'm not gonna paint with a fucking one brush fits all brush because if I do, someone will be like, I didn't know the story. But like 99% of the people playing this game know the gist of Aladdin.
Yeah, like
You know, like what I like it was cool when you saw the cutscenes or the little title screens where you saw like Jafar and like that creepy guy phase, whatever that is. I don't remember the name of that. Maybe he's like that creepy old man.
Yeah, like he was
Like,
just Jafar as a creepy old man.
okay, I couldn't remember if he had his own name. And like you see the bird a little bit and stuff like that. But I was like, I don't care. I'm like, I know. Like we got the genie, we got the lamp. He wants the lamp. We got to get the lamp away. And the bird is there causing trouble. So
Yeah.
that was fine. One thing is I would have loved to have seen a level where you got to play I wanted a little bit more Abu.
I mean, there were the Abu like mini games.
Yeah, which was great that they added those. But I don't know. Like I just love that guy. Like I would have liked to have seen a little bit more from him.
Yeah,
But-
I would have been okay with a bit more Abu, especially if you had like one where you were Abu as an elephant. Like I think that there's a lot of potential to have playing like a whole level as Abu, and
Yeah.
then maybe the next level you're playing as Abu as an elephant.
That would have been pretty rad. Yeah, that would have been pretty rad. But I do like that you get to play his his bonus levels, which like aren't great, but they're there. I also, dude, that fucking slot machine bonus level is horseshit. I suck at that
Dude.
fucking slot machine.
It's like you would have like 8 lined up, and you'd be like, "Fuck, here we go." And if you hit one Jafar, all of them are gone. It's
Dude,
like, what the fuck,
It's
man?
bullshit. That slot machine bonus level is more bullshit than the Super Mario Brothers 3 light up the 3 faces bullshit, which is also bullshit.
Which is also, yeah.
It's all bullshit. Yeah, you get one Jafar and lose all your fucking coins.
And it's
I was
like,
like,
I
what's-
spent the entire level collecting these, and you've just like, I pull the level once, and it's like immediately, fuck you.
Yeah, it's like, what are you fucking teaching kids? Not to gamble, I guess. Like,
mean,
maybe that's what it is
that's
they're
pretty good,
teaching kids
yeah.
you can lose everything. Don't, don't gamble or you can lose everything, I guess.
Yeah.
Also, one thing I thought was very, very rad was whenever you beat a level, you got that animation of Aladdin and Abu running across the screen.
With the do 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 do
Yeah.
do 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 do.
And then also whenever you died, the genie would show up like a fucking boxing trainer, and they'd be like, Abu would be like waving the magic rug at you, and they'd be like trying to wake you up and get you. Those are the little things, you know, like those. That's the Disney charm. I'm not even a Disney guy, but that's the charm.
I could have used a little bit more genie in this game.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you on that. Like, I was like, it's again, like, it's not a bad thing. I like the game, but I was shocked that Genie wasn't like a power up or something, you know, like,
Yeah.
something. Like,
I mean,
what
like,
happened?
Like the genie is the checkpoint, and he's got the genie tokens, and like he's in the cutscene, and like, you know, there's the whole level where you're in the genie's lamp, and
Yeah, like, I mean, I get that you don't get to like necessarily play. It might break the game to play as him because he's, you know, he's a fucking, he's a genie. But I was shocked that like, yeah, he just like, he doesn't like there's the one item you can get where you get like the dark lamp where it kills all the enemies on the screen. And I was like, I'm surprised the genie, you can't get the genie to like, I don't know, he just doesn't do anything.
It would have been cool to like, yeah, if you saw the genie come out of the lamp and like that, like he was on screen for a second and then like would wipe all the enemies off the screen. That'd be cool.
Like, I mean, I guess because he can't kill anybody, but still, like, he does nothing, you know, like useless. Do you know what happened? Because you would come across those like the like little market stand. What happened if you bought the wish scrolls? Do you know?
The wish was a continue. So like if you game over, you get to keep playing.
Oh, that makes sense. Every time I got to them, if I had enough money, I bought those. And I was like looking at everything on the screen, and I'm like, nothing's changing. I don't know what am I doing here? But that makes sense. Okay, because I never caught that. I was looking for it. But that was another thing I liked was that you were picking up the money, the rubies, and then when you found that guy, you could go shopping.
Yeah, like you would just and I'd be like, okay, I'm just gonna load up on lives, and I'd always get one wish and then load the rest up on lives.
Yeah, I was like, I would just spend all my money on wishes, and which in hindsight makes sense as to why I had so many continues. But yeah, no, it's I like that. I like that a lot. And like you said, the items, I really like that the checkpoints are the bottles shaped as the genie's head, or the bottles with the genie like on the like it's the genie as a bottle.
Yeah.
That was rad. And then picking up the actual genie heads were I think that was was that your spins on the bonus level?
That was your spins, and it would like again, I would fucking collect so many and then just lose all of them instantly, and I'll be like, that's the dumbest.
Yeah,
Like,
you just get wrecked.
like I would
Yeah.
understand like if a Jafar was like, oh, you get no prize for that, but like to take away all of your fucking like tokens was like, it was bullshit. It was stupid.
Oh, it was. Yeah, it was horse fuckery. We talked about the levels that irritated us, like the Cave of Wonders and the question mark, which was I for the record, I think that the rug ride is like the coolest level in the game. Other than the question mark is just bullshit.
Yeah.
But like even just make those little, I don't even know what you're picking up. They look like slices of orange. I don't know what the fuck they are as you're flying. But like even just have them lead there and have you follow those. But the question mark was fucking ridiculous. Did you have a favorite level? Because I have one that really stood out to me.
You know what? You don't like, you've already talked about not liking it, but I love the genie level.
Really?
Yeah. I like the song Friend Like Me, so that like maybe that's part of it.
I thought the level was charming. I just found it frustrating to play.
Oh, it was really hard, like especially because like you would like you would have to like trial and error some of those like hands that shrunk and like grew.
Yeah. Like it's that was the level where I was like, this feels like Earthworm Jim. And then when I found out that a bunch of the same developers were involved, I'm like, there it is. Because that was the level. And I love Earthworm Jim as well. But like, it's almost like you're trying to figure out what can I land on? What can't I land on? How can I make that jump? Can I make that jump? Like that was the level. I think that's the level I died on the most, honestly, was the inside the lamp.
Oh, for me, it was definitely like that Cave of Wonders level.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, it was like it was a cool idea for a level. But I died there too fucking much.
Yeah.
And
like I died I definitely died a few times, but like not nearly as much as the Cave of Wonders.
Yeah. You know, it's lame, but my favorite level in the game is actually the very first one.
You know what? It's a good level, like the marketplace.
Yeah. I think it like that one to me, maybe more than any other level in the game, that one to me felt like playing the movie. Like just the animations, the way it was drawn, the backgrounds, the music playing. I just like the way you're doing these crazy things like climbing up poles and holding onto the magic ropes and sliding down and everything. Like it really did a surprisingly good job for a 16-bit game of feeling like you were Aladdin running through this fucking village trying to get away from all of these, or this market or whatever, trying to get away from all these thugs. Like I really like, there's a lot of levels I liked, but that was actually my favorite one.
Well, and I really liked how so many of the like, you know, the enemies were like kind of background characters in the movie. Like the dude who's like juggling the knives and then throws them at you was like, that was a character in the movie, and it was like such a minor character, and I thought that was really interesting to like reimagine that like one background character as an enemy.
Yeah. That's a good point. I never thought of that. You're right. And you know, those are those little things that make a game stand the test of time and get the extra props when it gets a review. Cause like it would have been so easy to just make an enemy a fucking snake or not Yago, but just like a bird that was flying by. You know what I mean? Like so many video games have those like standard tripe generic item or animal that suddenly becomes an enemies. So for them to go to the extra time to find those and put them in, I agree. Yeah, that was pretty clever. It was well done. I felt like the marketplace had more exploration than a lot of the other levels.
Yeah, like a lot were like pretty linear.
Yeah.
Like especially like the desert level.
Sure. Which like that one I can kind of get on board with, because what are you gonna do? Like it's a desert. Like what are you gonna? It's hiding behind that cactus. You know, like what are you gonna? There's only so much you can do there. Like I get why the market would be bigger. Like I liked the prison, the dungeon, but I wish that it had been a bigger level, because that felt like a cool level where you could do a lot of exploring, and I didn't find there was all that. That one felt very linear to me.
Yeah, like it looked like there was a lot of branching paths, but there really wasn't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one. It was a cool level though. Yeah, just not quite big enough. That's
the design was cool though, because like it would be like, oh, you would like you'd like walk under where you just were to get to like another point. Like the way that it like kind of like the way it kind of like looped around was really cool.
Yeah, and it did this stuff like having the ball on chain with that like fake 3D where it swings toward the camera and then into the background.
Yeah.
And like this is not the first game to do that back then, but I'll never not be a fan of that kind of stuff. So this one didn't feel like it had as much platforming as the Super Nintendo one. Like this one felt like it was more about fighting off enemies and surviving. And
yeah.
And that surprises that I like it more because I'm a platforming guy. But this one, I was like, I would rather fight the enemies. It just felt like more fun to me than just platforming. You know, like I have a sword. Let me fucking kill shit.
And I thought the boss fights were like really interesting. Like the characters that they chose to like accentuate, like they had Abis Mal like being one of the first bosses, and then like the main guard was one, like a boss that you fought immediately after him. And
yeah, the only boss fight that I found disappointing was Jafar.
Yeah,
who I thought was kind of lame.
Iago had a really cool boss fight. I liked that one a lot.
I was so like, he pops up so many times throughout the game just as like a generic enemy. You know, like you'll be like climbing along a roof and he'll just be flying up there and you'll just hit him with your sword a couple of times and he'll go away. But then when you actually got to am I crazy? His fight was harder than Jafar's.
Yeah, because there was like all of that lightning that was like hitting you at the same time.
Fuck, that lightning was pissing me off, but I just love that. He's my favorite character. 100% thank you to the performance of Gilbert Gottfried. So he's such a great fucking, I love that bird so much. That was my favorite fight. That would have been, that's where playing as Abu would have been awesome.
Yeah, like you got to be the one to fight to fight Iago.
Yeah, like Aladdin sets off to fight Jafar, and then the bird and the monkey throw hands.
Oh, that would have been cool. Yeah, that would have been cool.
Like we're just nitpicking now, but that would have been.
Yeah, we're spitballing. Like I'm sure like they had a million ideas that they didn't have time for because this game was made like on a really tight time. Because like I think they started making this game like when the movie was in theaters, and like Disney was like, we want this to be out by the time we're promoting the VHS release.
Well, and that's something. So on Expansion Pass tomorrow, we're going to be talking about our favorite licensed retro games, just games based on any kind of other like big IP. And I think like there's some really good licensed games like this, like The Lion King, Chip and Dale and DuckTales and stuff like that. But there's a lot of bad ones too. And I think a lot of them, the reason they are bad is because they're put under such an insane time crunch, or they were back then, to be out in time to sync up with either the theater release or the home movie release. And so I think frankly it's a little bit of more of a tip of the cap to all the developers that worked on this game, that like not only was this not one of those bad rushed out licensed games, but it's like, dude, the Sega, like I'm a Super Nintendo kid, but as I've been doing the show for years, I have grown an immense respect for the Sega Genesis. And there are some games on the Genesis that I fucking love. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend that Aladdin is like a top 5 Genesis game for me, because I don't think it is. But quality wise, it stacks up against like your Sonics and your Streets of Rages and like Gunstar Heroes, like some of the biggest, most quality titles on the Genesis. And I'm like, Aladdin can go toe to toe with any of them, and that's pretty fucking remarkable. Like it's an incredibly competent game to be done on such a tight schedule, and you have to try to fit it within the parameters of what happened in Aladdin.
Yeah,
yeah.
I was thinking about like this game would like, I mean, the story wouldn't make sense, but like, would this be a good game if you had never played Aladdin? And I think it would be.
Like if you've never seen the movie?
Yeah, if you never saw, that is what I meant to say. Yeah,
I didn't mean to correct you, but I was like,
yes, what I said was stupid.
That's deep, Mark. That's some deep
shit. If
shit.
you never played this game, would this still be a game, man?
Whoa, man.
If you had never seen Aladdin and like the only thing you knew about Aladdin was this game, I think this game would still hold up. I mean, you might be a little bit confused as to like what the fuck's going on with this story, but overall, yeah. I think like the game, like, because the game is fun. It's like, and it's one of those. And it is one of those like IP games that goes really hard. It goes way harder than it has to go.
Totally. And I think it would still be good if you didn't know anything of the movie. I don't think it would be quite as memorable. Like I think I never really played it, but do you remember like Cool Spot, the 7-Up guy dot?
I remember that he had a game, but I never
Yeah.
played it.
And like I remember it being like a competent game. I know I played it because I remember like running along a beach. But anyways, I wonder if this would be remembered more like that. Like if it didn't have that name recognition, if it would just be like, oh yeah, that's just like one of those colorful. Because like I've said it many times, like when I think of the Sega Genesis, I think of like Saturday morning cartoon games. Like I think their games like Sonic and them look like Saturday morning cartoons.
Like this game would be like if this wasn't tied to like a successful Aladdin movie, like this would be remembered the same way that like Ristar on the Genesis was.
Sure, yeah. Dynamite Hetty, like Rocket Knight Adventures. Yeah, it'd be one of those. Not that that's a bad thing, but it would just be another in the pile of platforming games on the Sega Genesis or what have you.
I'd hear that. I'd hear that argument.
But I think that's what makes this so special is that talking about good and bad licensed games, dude, there are some fucking looking at you, Ghostbusters on the NES that broke my heart. There's so many bad licensed games from this era because they were like, it's going to sell. The fucking popular IP is on the front and kids are stupid. They're going to buy it. Like it's we don't have to make it good. So when one was good and they didn't just take the cop out route of like, hey, we have a popular IP on the front. Let's actually put a good game in the box. That's what makes them special. And I think I think I like Lion King more than a lot of people do. I know some people get mad at how cheap it is. I think The Lion King's fucking awesome. And that's probably my favorite Disney movie. So that helps. But this one's right there with it. Like the quality is there. Do they take some creative licenses with the IP? Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I haven't seen the movie in a long fucking time, but I don't remember a scene where you're in the fucking lamp bouncing off genie hands.
No, but it is kind of like representative. Like a lot of the set pieces in that are like the stuff that happens in Friend Like Me. The like try some of column A, try all of column B, and and so like in the lamp you're jumping from like column A to column B. It's cute.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's a good game based on a good IP. They didn't mail it in. I think it's as polished as any game I've played on the Genesis.
Banger soundtrack though.
Agreed. Yeah, the music is and that's getting back to that. Someone I'm maybe misremembering your comment person that wrote in about the music, and this is not shitting on your take, but I was just a little bit shocked that the soundtrack got a little bit of heat because I was like, dude, I thought the game sounded awesome.
Yeah.
Like when I was listening to it, I was like, I haven't seen this movie in over 25 years and I recognize some of the songs.
Yeah, he used like the Alan Menken music to it. Like, so I don't like there were a few like original compositions that are like, okay, that's whatever. But like they used the songs from the movie and they fucking bang.
Yeah, that was the problem was the original tracks. I was like, it's not that you're bad, but you're not the songs from the game that we all remember.
Yeah, that
I was like,
I think it was like The Desert is one of the first original like soundtrack pieces, and we're like, okay, man.
Yeah. Like it's I don't know if you're like this, but I must have 1,500 songs on my phone, and I listen to the same like 100, and then I skip the other 1,400 every time they come up. And this game, when one of those other ones came up, I was like, yeah. I was like, get to one of the good ones. I know this one. I don't care about this one. Like I want that fucking I want one of the ones from the movie that I remember. But then every time one of them came on from the movie that I remembered, I got excited because I was like, I remember this one.
And Arabian Nights and Friend Like Me. None of this fucking you wrote yourself shit, man.
Yeah, Arabian Nights is the one that really that one, and then A Whole New World, of course. So.
Which I think doesn't appear in a level, but it is like the end, like the end credit song.
Yeah. And that, like, if I guess, like, I really don't want to like criticize it for this, but I guess like my two my two biggest criticisms of this game have nothing to do with the gameplay. Like, sure, the rug with the question mark is a little bit of horse fuckery, and then the running from those fucking boulders and being tempted by the items above you, but if you jump to get them, you'll die, and not knowing what you can land on. Like, some of those things bothered me, but I think the two things that genuinely bothered me the most were the lack of Genie and the lack of Jasmine.
Yeah.
And, like, not big deals. I don't expect a level where you can play as Jasmine, but like,
But also, like, why, like, that
why
that
not?
could have been cool. Like,
Why
or
not?
like you were playing with, like, maybe Jasmine is riding her fucking tiger. Like, there's a whole tiger character that doesn't come up at all in this game, and I'm like, there's so much he could have done with that, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I'll hear an argument that goes back to the time crunch, and they were like,
Yeah, 100%.
you know how long it takes to like make up these sprites and all that kind of shit. They're like, that's why it's Aladdin. You know, like, fuck you, you got him. You know, like, what else do you want from us here? But I just they're both so. I mean, what were you and I just talking about off air? Would the original cartoon Aladdin have been even half as beloved without the genie, without Robin Williams as the genie? Like, the genie, when I think of the movie Aladdin, the very first thing that comes to mind is the genie.
No, and we were even talking, like, we went and saw the Broadway play last year, and like, it's good, but like the parts of the play that are fucking awesome are the parts with the genie. Like,
Genie
the
steals the
genie
show.
makes this story.
Yeah, without it, it's just some guy in MC Hammer pants.
Yeah, MC Hammer,
the parachute pants. Oh fuck, those are the days. But it's true, and there's just, yeah, like, that would probably be my single biggest. Even Jasmine, like, sure, it would have been cool to play a leveler, but like, I've been playing Mario games since I was 4 years old, saving the princess. Like, I've done it. It's fine. I get it. But the genie is Aladdin. Like, a little bit of genie would have been nice. It's awesome that he's in the animation of like bringing you back to life when you get knocked out. That's great.
That's
but
cool,
I would have liked, but I would have liked a little bit more of him. So, oh, and then I didn't even know about did you know about the cheat code?
No, there's a cheat code?
Yeah, so I didn't even know this until after I got reading the comments. And so many, and if I don't bring it up, I know people are going to get mad at me. But let me find it here, because it's like Aladdin Sega Genesis cheat code. There was like one to skip levels. And it was like, where is it here? And it was like words like it was like a word from the game. Yeah, here it is. Level skip. On any stage, pause the game and then press ABBAABBA. So a baba. And you'll skip a level. And I was like, I didn't even know that.
That is really clever.
How clever is that?
I didn't know that, and I kind of wish that I did know that, because I did like fucking game over a few times.
Yeah. I didn't know that. And like, I've never understood how anybody found these codes back in the day. Like, how the fuck did anybody find, like, oh, if you press start on the title screen and then push up, down, left, right, BBAA, start, select, up, you'll get an extra 5 lives. And I'm like, who the fuck finds this? Like how do...
Dude, you know what the word, and like a little off topic, but like, have you ever caught Mew in the original Pokemon games? Like, there's a whole like sequence of things you have to do in a very specific order, and it's like, who the fuck found this?
I know.
Like, what?
Like, I'm genuinely convinced that like nobody found that. The developers told it to one of the gaming magazines, and that's how it got into the real world.
Like, it must. There's no way that like anybody would have done that sequence of events naturally without being told to do that.
Yeah, I've never understood that. But I do have to shout it out, because a whole bunch of people brought it up in the comments and stuff, and I had no idea that was a thing. And when I read that, I was like, that might be the single cleverest cheat code I've ever heard.
Because it's like, because there were two, but like there was A and there was B, and it's like, okay, but you can spell Ababa with that, and I'm like, yeah, that's clever.
Yeah, pretty clever. Yeah, it was good. I liked it. I like this game. Like, I was thinking to myself while I was playing it today, I was like, fuck, would I have liked passwords on this as a kid? I don't think it's long enough for passwords. This is one I would have just been happy to fire up and start from scratch every time. Wouldn't have bothered me.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
not
like
that long.
I feel like if you did passwords, like the game would have been over so quick.
Yeah, and that first level, especially if you're not very good or you're playing it on like a, the higher difficulties, like that first level is so critical for just grabbing a whole bunch of the root or the slot machine genies and then just praying you don't draw a fucking Jafar and get fucked. Dude, that is such bullshit. I agree with you. What a fucking, if you want to say like wah wah on this one, go ahead. But to take away all my spins, fucking bullshit. Fuck
I mean, I guess
Jafar.
Jafar is a villain and he's doing stuff you don't want him to be doing. And that's the whole point. But still.
I mean, if the point of that decision was to make me hate the main villain more, mission accomplished. Because when I got to him, I was like, "You have any idea how many spins of that slot machine you cost me, you son of a bitch?"
Dude, I'm going to fucking apple you to death right
Yeah,
here.
yeah. You'll pay. And that's the other thing too is like everyone online was like, "Yeah, you got to just kill him with apples," and I was just like, because I can't even get close enough to him to hit him with my sword. Like when he's a snake, I can't even get close enough to him to hit him with my sword. Which like is fine, but it just adds another layer to the crappiness of that final boss. Cause I'm like, so you actually gave me a sword. I've been like slicing up fucking soldiers and henchmen all game. And now that I'm at the last boss, I can't use my sword.
Yeah, and like there's the cool part like in the movie where like, Aladdin's fighting the giant snake with the sword and he's like surfing on it at one point and like he's like, no, you just gotta throw apples. And it's like,
Yeah,
all right, I guess.
It's fine. I like it. I like it a lot. I'm good. Are you ready to score this thing? I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm ready to score it.
All right. How the fuck do we score this thing? Guess you can't do it out of 3 wishes. That'd be lame.
3 wishes? I think it's like...
Let's look up the box office for Aladdin. Let's do that.
Okay.
Box office, Aladdin... not live action. Fuck off. Did you see the live action one? I haven't seen it.
Yeah, you know what? Because I fucking love Aladdin. I've seen all of it. I liked the live action just fine. I mean, Will Smith was different. Like it was a different take on the character, and it wasn't bad, but it also wasn't like necessary. Like a lot of those live action remakes are just like, I guess, but why? Like, the Lion King was the worst offender, where it was like pretty much just like a line for line remake of the cartoon. And it's like, but the cartoon was awesome, and this is just kind of fine. Why did you do this?
As the Lion King is so near and dear to my heart, I straight up refuse to give that live action one 15 seconds of my worthless time.
And you don't have to, because like you've already seen it if you've seen the original.
Yeah, and I'm willing to bet the original's better.
Yeah,
so,
like I don't know. A lot of those live action remakes, I'm like the Beauty and the Beast one was good, but like it was Beauty and the Beast, and Beauty and the Beast is good. So like,
fucking lazy ass Disney.
Well, like
what is it?
What is it? I gave them my money to go see that, so it worked.
Fucking bastards. Put a chicken and make her gay. Fucking South Park. That's how Disney operates.
Put a chicken and make her gay.
Put a chicken and make her gay. Cartman running South Disney. Fucking so funny. I love South Park.
Playing Kathleen Kennedy.
Oh fuck, so good. Aladdin made $504 million at the box office. So let's do that. Let's go out of 504. We will go 504 million. Just out of 504.
I'm going to say 420 just because nice.
Nice. Well, fuck, that makes me just want to say 69.
You know what? I'm going to say 420 and 0.69.
Dude, if a movie ever makes that, if it was ever announced that a movie's current box office was sitting at 420,069,000, nobody else would ever go to that movie. They'd be like, well, we can't change that now. No, 420 is a good score. Fuck yeah, that's about where I am too. I'm like, and listen, because somebody asked me today in the comments, they were like, "Is there ever been a score you've given that you regret?" And I'm like, I don't remember what I give anything. So I do like this one more than the Super Nintendo. But if the score I'm about to give it works out to be lower than the Super Nintendo,
We'll retroactively change the one for the Super Nintendo.
Yeah. Then it just becomes the like, is there a way to escape the dungeon without using the wizard's key situation? Like, I don't fucking know.
What the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, I'll give it. Yeah, I'll give it like a 430 out of 504.
You were trying so hard not to give it 420.
I was, yeah, but yeah, I'd be in that like 8.5 out of 10. Like it's like I have nitpicks. There are things I would have liked to have seen more of. I do think there's the odd moment of retro game shenanigans, but I think it's incredibly competent game.
Short.
It is short.
But like I still got hours out of it, so like
yeah, same here. Like dude, so many of my favorite retro games I can beat in like half an hour. That I'll never dunk on a game for being short. Yeah. I would have liked to have seen some Genie, and I would have liked to have seen a little bit less bullshit in a couple of levels. But it was a pretty fucking
Jasmine
game.
Something to do in like a story that is supposed to be at least half hers, you know?
Yeah. I feel like she played a little bit bigger role in the movie than she did in this fucking game.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even feel like she's in this game. I feel like it's just us out to kill this evil-looking guy and his bird.
It doesn't really explain why we're killing this guy.
No. But Aladdin has always been a story of revenge.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I don't know.
I guess.
Yeah. I think it's always been about murder. Just cold-blooded murder. So.
Cold-blooded murder.
Cold-blooded murder. Sure. No, good game. Highly recommend it. And I hope that for the 4 billion of you out there that have been for years telling me like, why don't you do the Genesis one? The Genesis one is better. A, I hope you feel redeemed, and B, I just want you to know that you were right. It was.
Yeah, it definitely is. Yeah.
And for those of you that love the Super Nintendo one that are now going to be mad at me for saying the Genesis one is better, I am one of you, but Sega does what Nintendo don't. It was the better game. I'm sorry. You're just going to have to, you have the better platformer. Mario's better than Sonic. Okay. You won.
Yeah. I'll give Sonic, like I'll give Mario props over Sonic any day. Like, especially like you compare Sonic 3 to Super Mario World. There's no question. No question.
Yeah. You won, but they had the better Aladdin.
The better Aladdin game, which is like really like you can let them have that, right?
Yeah. It's fine. They had the better Aladdin, they had the better sports games, and they had the better beat 'em ups.
Yeah, there was like real blood in the Sega ones.
Yeah, that's how it is. It's fine. And frankly, they you know what? They had a cooler name. Sega Genesis is cooler than Super Nintendo.
Yeah, because it's just like it's a Super Nintendo, whereas like Genesis is like, oh, that gives like that's a biblical sound like name right there. Like that's implying this is the beginning of something huge.
Just to make sure I've made a couple more people angry before I end this episode, you fucking weirdos that live on the other side of the pond that called it the Mega Drive, that's the worst name I ever heard. I'll never move off that. Sega Mega Drive. It's just a fucking, that's awful. I'm sorry. The Genesis sounds like Mark said, like biblical, like epic, like, oh my God, it's the Genesis. Sega Mega Drive.
Say the same thing about like the Famicom versus the Super Nintendo. Like the Famicom, that's got some weight to it, whereas like the Super Nintendo.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah. Sega Mega Drive sounds like last Simpsons reference. I promise. It's Mark and I do this every week talking Simpsons. It's hard not to go back to that well. But Sega Mega Drive, it literally sounds like they were just like, I don't know, we need a name that's edgy. Something like Mega Drive, only better. And then walk away. And they're like, so is Mega Drive good with everybody? Yeah, Mega Drive. That's what it sounds like to me. Anyways, we're done. Sorry. I've upset the Super Nintendo Aladdin fans and the European Sega fans. I can live with that. I'll sleep well tonight. Mark, where can people look at your face?
You can follow me on TikTok at Bark McCue.
That's good stuff.
I'm there talking nerd stuff, talking about real world stuff, talking about just whatever I'm feeling like talking about that day.
Yeah. Go see them. I'll put a link in the description of this episode, probably, assuming I remember to do that. And we're done. Mark, great job. And I guess I'll talk to you tomorrow because we'll record Purple Monkey Dishwasher tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll talk to you soon.
Oh, yeah. And if you listeners like the back and forth between me and Mark, consider signing up for Patreon and checking out our Simpsons show, Purple Monkey Dishwasher. We're going into season 7 next week. Who Shot Mr. Bird? Season 7. Fuck, we're flying, man. It's insane.
We've been doing this for a while.
That's crazy, yeah. But anyway, we'll move on. Thanks, Mark. Thank you for doing this.
Yeah.
That is going to do it for this week's episode. Mark, thank you so much for giving me a call and talking a little Aladdin. Thank you for being my Valentine and choosing me. And every single one of you nerds listening to this, whether it's your first Remember the Game or your 365th, thank you for choosing me. I really appreciate it. Dude, 365 episodes. Literally every day of the year now, except for leap years. But leap years, take Christmas Day off. Talk to your family on Christmas Day. Man. That's crazy. And we're not done yet. I've got episodes planned through at least the end of April. Like, I mean, not that we're ending in the end of April, but I basically know what's coming through the end of April, assuming nothing changes. I'm not going to tell you all the episodes quite yet because I don't want to spoil anything and I don't want to change my mind, but I am trying to let everybody know a little bit in advance of what's coming. So so I skipped the last week of every month. There's a chance next week's episode will go into the last week of the month, and I'll skip next week. It depends on if I can get it done in time. But at some point in the next 14 days, episode 366 will be about Metroid Prime 2. That will be going on. I'm playing it right now. I should have it done in time for next week, but I'm just putting it out there. That's the plan. So, yeah, that's coming. And then next month, if nothing changes, we're going to be talking about Fear, F.A.E.A.R. I think it's pronounced Fear. Unless that is pronounced something weird and I don't know about it yet. We're going to finally talk Max Payne, Patreon poll winner. And a couple of months ago, I mentioned the game Tubin. And I was like, does anyone else remember Tubin? And a nice portion of you reached out and said, yes, you do, which warmed my heart. So Tubin is getting the RTG treatment in March. That's the plan for episodes in March, assuming nothing changes. Don't hold me to any of that. Subject totally to change. I don't know what I'm talking about. But that is what I'm shooting for. So if you don't hate the show, leave us a good review. I don't know what they accomplish, but I read them and they make me feel good. I think they help the algorithm, but I don't know. And again, if you don't mind, I have to do my plug one more time. Patreon.com/rememberthegame. Dude, we have never hit. I don't often talk about how many Patreons we have, but we have never hit 2,000 paid Patreons. We have come very, very close. And then every month when cancellations happen and stuff like that, we drop down a few. So we've never, I don't remember the last time we fell under 1,900, but we've never crossed 2,000 and we are very, very close. So if you've been thinking about it, man, now is the time. Drop the $3, check it out for a month, vote in the Patreon poll, tournament extravaganza. Those brackets are running all month. We're almost into the second round right now. It's a really good time. Listen to hundreds and hundreds of bonus podcasts and get us over that mark. That would be fucking sick. But even if you don't want to do that, just keep listening to us on the free feeds. I really appreciate it. Leave us a good reviews, all the other stuff. Tell your friends, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to thank some of our patrons and get out of here for the day. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. If you are a patron, I'll be back tomorrow with Expansion Pass, where we'll be talking about our favorite licensed games of all time to follow up on this episode of Aladdin. And like I said, either the next episode of Remember the Game, hopefully next week, maybe 2 weeks, Metroid Prime 2, Echoes. Should be a banger. Appreciate everybody. Talk to you later. Cheers, so long, goodbye. Remember the Game is brought to you by our Patreons. I couldn't puke up all the content I churn out every week without all of your support. The following people are at the senior executive vice president level or higher at patreon.com/rememberthegame. And as such, I'm contractually obligated to thank you as fast as I can. So we're going to go in alphabetical order this week. A huge thank you to Remember the Game Hall of Famer, Slick Motherfucking Rick, Too Much Karma, a dude named Adam, AB Killin, Adam Blank still hasn't reviewed Mario Galaxy, Aaron Lawson, Adam Arnett, Agent Booty Pants, Akiris Network, Alex McIntyre, Alex R, Amanda Hug and Kiss, Andrew Wright, Andy Hudson, Angry Ticks, Archangel Otaku, A-Town, Botfucker, Bartman Forever, Beaver Boy, Beef Dingleberry, Beers of War, Better Mouse Trap Guitars, Big Daddy Randall, Big the Cat, Because 19, Blaine the Hoagie Man, Blobby, B Money, Bob Sacamano, Secamano, excuse me. Brandon DeZeba, Brian Richmond, Bula, Cannon Fodder Games, Can't Destroy Her, Captain Asbury Juice, Captain Black Silver, Carl Not Garl, Caveman Lance, Cesar, Chris Fleury, Chris Nethercutt, Chris Hill isn't scared, that could be anyone's ass. Christian Gabriel, Christopher Britt, Christopher Lee Williams, Chugger22, Cody Donaldson, Cody Thompson, Conebread, Desiraith, Daniel Cook, Darbles, Darth Skywalter, Dave Thompson, David Schroeder, Davis Feith, DBXJ, Decoy Man, Dean Donian, Devin Collins, Diablo Spartan, Discount Psyop, Dissect That Dan, Donnie the Dude Walter, Doogie Bowser MD, Drugs About MK, Earl Eldest Millennial, Elijah Burns, E-Man Trucker, Eric Hopewell, Erotic Onion Ring, Exotic Chaotic, Fallen Snow Kiku, Fancy Starbot Dirt, Faded Sufferance, Flater Flav, Flinny123, Frank Preeves, Frosty Bear, Thunder Leaps, Fuzzy99, General Fury, G9PSX, Gabe, Game Boy, Gannon, Generic Name 238, George Swan, Governor Blank, Graham Kennedy, Growlywog, Handsome Major Angus McZongo Esquire, Haga Waffle, Hello Mr. Thompson, High Plains Drifter, Hits Meals, Hokey Riff, Holmes, Horror Wars Podcast, I Am the Very Model of a Modern Major General, Ida Yellow, Infinity Rage, Isaac Adis, Isaias, It's That Nerd James, Jake Carter, Jamil Williams, James Juan Francesco, Jeff Bergeron, Jimothy, Jay Callahan, J Nasty 15, Joe the Sandman, Johnny from Virginia, John of the Adult Children Podcast, Jonathan Breyer, Jordan, Jort King Keegs, JR Bob Dobbs, JSK Fusick, Juris Dr. Mario, Just the Fish, Just Car Pranks, Justin Blair, Justin Tate, Just James, Jinxie 425, Kevin Monroe, Kia Pup, King Tiki Tiki, Laces Out Dan, Landed Turquoise, Legendberry, Leroy Restwich, Lil Bunny Fufu 89, Lindsay Lee, Liquor Like Luigi, Lord Long Ron Bon Hugendon II, Lord Parmesan, Lord Salazar, Lotus, Lucas Shaman, Madam Nutsitch, Makes Your Mellow Magic Money, Marcus Mendoza, Mark Sneed, Matt Babinu, Maverick Marty, Max Legfroom, MacGyver 88, McCracken, Mercury 869, Mike Maloney, Mikey Hag, Mild Oatmeal, Mr. Jabroni, Mizuru, Monster SD Boner, Moby 36, Morgan, Muffin Man Jr., Muncal, Musty Beetle, My Left Nut, Newman, Nick Creature, No One Cares, Nordak, Northern, Ocarina of Tim Rocks, Oroku Saki's Gardener, Pee Wee Squitters, Penguin Milk, Phil Lencher, Fill Up My Mouth with Farts, Please Refrain from Tasting the Knob, Postman, Proud Slurm Addict, Queer Al Yank Your Dick, Quiet Place Queen, Randy Barrage, Raph is My Favorite Turtle Not Donnie, Redline Aero Drones, Rob Lindsay, Robbie Air, Roger Staubach's Pool Cleaner, Rush's Dog Walker, Ryan Kinchin, Ryan Perry, Ryan Whitcomb, Ryan 4664, Sam Carpenter, Scary Terry, Scott Brooks, Scotty J, Scotty McGee, Self High Five, Shane's World, Shoeboxer, Sharonic, Shut Up, Sleeper Hit, Smith, Shower Goat Face, Sour goat face, not shower. I would not shower with a goat face, but I would sour them. Spider Cat, Spooky Dookie, Squeak Nut, Squints, Standard Ass Brian, Steaming Wooly, Steve Dunk, Storm Beagle, Stud Steel Smash, Super Cyan, Safarioff, T-Bear 87, Tadpole, Ted Explosion, The Big Deal, The $100 Kid, Ted Michaels, The Okayest of Muffins, The Supreme Chozo Rizzo, Thomas Smith, Thrill Ho, Tim Maverick, Timmy the Exuberant Turtle, Timothy Sabrinsky, Titan 420, Toby OP, Topher Love, Travis Sanders, Triple Three, Tyler Patchell, VOS Rager, Works for Me, Wilco, Wolfgang Darren, Wolf Magic 21, Wyatt the Surgeon Who Isn't a Surgeon Row, You Son of a Bitch, Why? Tell Me Why? You Heard About Pluto, Zach Shepard, Zamato, Zane Donovan, Siegfried, and Zombie Exy. That was a pretty good fucking batch of South Face, of shout-outs, of South Face. What in the fuck? Why am I... Dude, I'm telling you, I'm struggling to say words lately. I'm fucking losing it. Anyway, shouldn't need that packet of powdered gravy that I found in the parking lot. Take it easy, everybody. Cheers. Thank you.